Hey folks, welcome back to KKR Renewables Metal Recovery channel. So what I've got now is I've got one of the motherboards from the HP Aruba wireless access points. And if you remember, each one of these motherboards had a lot of MLCCs on it that I wanted to be able to reclaim. They've also got on them a gold crystal oscillator that I want to reclaim. But underneath these metal cans here, there are BGAs. And these BGAs, I said in the video that I'll post right here, if we can watch that, I said that these BGAs had gold bond wires in them. And one of my subscribers, BNAE38, said that, hey, you know, some of those chips don't have gold bond wires in them, and it's prudent to go ahead and check those out if you have a lot of the same equipment to see if it's worth your time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a heat gun, and I'm going to pull these BGAs off, and I'm going to test them and see if there's actually gold bond wires in them by burning them with a propane torch. And I'm going to then smash them and look at them under a microscope and see if there's gold bond wires here. So I really want to thank BNAE38 for pointing that out. You know, sometimes when we do things like this, we don't speak as tightly as we probably should, and I didn't want to mislead anybody and say that these were definitely gold bond wires, because they might not have been. So I really want to thank that subscriber for pointing that out and setting us on a journey to run some tests on these. If I do have gold bond wires in here, they'll be worth it to me to hit them with a heat gun or with a chisel and a hammer and get them off. So let's actually do the whole chisel hammer thing right now, so I don't have to fire the heat gun up. All right, so here I have my chisel and hammer. I'm going to go ahead and just protect that and give that a good whack. And there is the BGA. There's one of the BGAs. We'll give this one a good whack. I don't know if this one's going to come off so easily. That one just broke. So what these are, what's happening here is there's solder in one big clump underneath here, and it'll be underneath here as well. So what I'm going to, they're very, very difficult to get off, if at all possible, to even get off with a hammer and chisel. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and hit this with, I'll take this outside, I'll hit it with a heat gun, and I will pull these two off. You've seen that before, so I won't show you that part. But when we come back, we'll be over by the microscope, and I will have pulled this off and pulled this off and this one and burned them, and then we'll check out what types of bond wires, if any, are inside here. All right, folks, so as you can see here are the three chips that we pulled from the HP Aruba wireless access points. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my hammer, and I'm going to grind them up just enough so that we can get access to the interior, and that we can see where the gold is, if there is any gold in there. So let me go ahead and smash this up. Okay. So what I'll do now is I'll use my microscope, and I'll use a pin and I'll just dig through the burnt carbon in each one of these. And I'll be back and I'll show you either pictures through the microscope, or I just recently found out that I can use a macro lens on my camera as well. Sorry about the orientation of this. I forgot that I wasn't making a short. All right, looking at the macro view here, you can see just to the left of that triangle, there are some bond wires in there, and they sure look like they're aluminum to me. Or silver. I'm not quite sure if that could potentially be silver or not. But it does definitely not look like it's gold. That's very disappointing. This is the first, it was the lower IC chip on the page. I haven't dug through these two yet, but I will say, as far as this one goes, I think if we look right there, tip of my needle, you can see these strands, and they look to me like they're silver in color, which is more than likely, and there's another set right here, which is more than likely aluminum. So good call being AE38 on this particular chip especially. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, here's the next chip that I've dug through. And if you look right here and there, you see more bond wires, and they look very aluminum, or silver, or, you know, they're definitely not copper, unless they're tinned copper. I don't know what they are, but they're definitely not gold. Now, this is the second one of this exact same type of chip that honestly I usually leave on the boards because I can't get them off. There's a matrix of solder connections beneath the board or beneath the chip, and if I try to hit them with a hammer and a chisel, they just will not come off. The only way I've been able to successfully remove them is with a heat gun. And boy, I'm going to stop doing that from now on if all of these have these aluminum or these tinned copper wires in them. All right, good call again, being AE38. Here's another one without gold bond wires. This is making these boards look less and less attractive to me. Let's go on to the third one now. Okay, here's the last chip. It's a BGA, what looks like a BGA memory chip. And pretty consistent with the other memory chips. You can see here there is these gold pads right here where the gold bond wires, which are all over here and down here. You see some nice examples of the gold bond wires. This one definitely has gold bond wires in it. So this is the only chip that I've pulled out that actually has gold in it. These are the rectangular shaped gold bond wires. I've done another video where I've pulled these apart and I've tried to extract the gold from them, and I wasn't terribly happy with the results. But I can tell you that these definitely do have gold in them. So if you have a lot of them and you're willing to put in the effort to get these, they're certainly worth doing. But I was expecting a lot more gold out of it. But if your expectations are proper, then everything will be okay. Just take a look here where the tip of the needle is. You can see the gold bond wires, and you can see the gold receiving pads right here at the tip of my needle and the tip of my needle's shadow. You can see what those gold bond wires are. So there's one chip that I found so far that has gold bond wires in it from these Hewlett-Packard Aruba wireless access points. All right, that's it for this follow-up. That's all I wanted to show you. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much, being AE38, for your review and your comments and your spark of interest in me to go ahead and figure out whether or not these Hewlett-Packard Aruba wireless access points have chips that do indeed have gold bond wires in them or not. So far, just one. All right, thanks.